Welcome back, Alpha Hunters. It is a very terrific Thursday, and it is also kind of like Fed Fallout Day, kind of like what's going on in the market after the Fed day. And we'll talk about some Fed stuff. But yesterday was kind of interesting. We did have a nice little run as we got the interest rate decision. We got the very beginnings of the Fed talk and questions and stuff like that. And then about the time when he gets off the mic, we started to see the market reverse, trade lower and down on the day, but not too much, kind of indifferent from what it had been doing earlier in the day. We just had a pretty strong pump and a pretty good drop there. And we had a pretty good, gap up today. Pretty decent gap up here. Gapped up roughly 0.75%, and it's traded lower, got negative, and it bounced. And yeah, it's kind of it. We had a nice little bounce for about 45 minutes sideways for about an hour. A little bit of a run here over the past hour, and we'll see what kind of happens as we go into the end of the day and how it sets up. Maybe tomorrow, I kind of want to see maybe how tomorrow looks, but Q's not too much indifferent either. Mostly because I'll kind of want to see as far as what happens with AAPL earnings. Remember today after the bell, kind of a big one. A lot of weight on the market or on the markets, on the ETFs. So yeah, I kind of want to see what kind of happens with them and see if that gives us a clear direction on the market. IWM actually looking pretty good today, up 1.5%. Q's up 1%. SPY currently up about 0.75%. DIA up 0.75% also. Not looking too bad there. RSP, nice little gap up here, trading lower first 40 minutes or so. And then kind of traded higher. And let's see. Yeah, this is kind of what I was kind of afraid of. Not afraid of, but kind of a weird look on the markets because we have yesterday's kind of gap down, trade higher, and then trade all the way back down with that pump in the afternoon, pump and drop in the afternoon. And then today we have this gap up, trade down, and bounce. That's kind of happened so far. So we'll see what happens by the end of the day. If we roll back down by the end of the day and kind of close towards the lower ends of the day, yeah, that won't look good as we go into tomorrow. But I kind of want to see what happens tomorrow after AAPL earnings, and we'll see maybe what's going on with that. Yeah, also DIA also here with the upper wick, lower wick today. Okay. IWM as well. IWM looking pretty, actually kind of nice here. Looking pretty good there. Q's not looking too bad. We got a nice little upper wick yesterday. Not even a little upper wick, but a pretty good upper wick there. Rolled back down. And Q's nice gap up today. Pretty good lower wick today. Okay. And SPY, kind of the same thing. So I think it would be safe to say if we broke today's low, we're definitely just going lower. Definitely going lower. So it'd be curious to see if that happens tomorrow with AAPL earnings. Speaking of AAPL, yeah, kind of looks like maybe the markets for yesterday. Nice little higher wick there. Gap up today, lower wick. Be curious why they gapped up so much, but maybe people are just really optimistic as they go into earnings tomorrow. Currently up about 2% here on the market. All right. VIX. A little bit lower today. All right, makes sense. Market is up. Dollar dropping off. It was really kind of interesting here. I'm going to go intraday. Really interesting here on the dollar. Really interesting. Yesterday afternoon, we had this bounce as the market was rolling, the stock market was rolling over. We had this bounce here on the dollar, and then the market closed, stock market closed, and then the dollar just dropped off. It was like really weird. So yeah, I don't know what really caused that, but yeah. Anyways, dollar. Some pretty busy candle days here past week, going back to last Friday. And it looks like, we're breaking the low of last Friday today. probably at least going to move down to these highs that we put in February and March, or the beginning of April. So, yep. I mean, I would expect a little bit of a more of a breakdown here on the DXY. GLD continuing just to pull back. I'm surprised it hasn't been a little bit more aggressive on the pullback here. But yeah, continuing to pull back. Let's take a look at a weekly. I mean, look at this move that we had to start from the kind of the start of March, and then it kind of looks like just a flag pattern here coming in here. So, I mean, it looks pretty good. I would just continue to be buying any of those dips. Yields, 10-year yield dropping off a little bit today. Hasn't broke that 20. Last time it got and interacted with it was back here in late March. So we've been kind of consolidating here for the second half of April, kind of up in this range between 4.55 and 4.7. So yeah, maybe we do see it kind of come back down the lower ends of the channel. Be interesting to see that. All right. Here's take a look at the 30-year. 30-year not nearly as bad as the 10-year. 30-year still was holding up pretty good. So yeah, be curious to see what that looks like maybe tomorrow. And then take a look at the 2-year. 2-year dropping off pretty hard. So 2-year dropping off pretty hard. Okay. 10 and 2 inversion. Yep, starting to continue its bounce, push higher. All right. HYG, the bonds, high yield corporate bonds. Bouncing pretty good today, actually. It's a pretty good bounce there. Okay. Yeah. It's failed here 2 times before, roughly. Maybe we drop from here. I'd be curious. I mean, with the way like 10-year yield looks, maybe we don't. Pretty honest, the 10-year look like it wants to drop a little bit more, which maybe we'll see a little bit more upside on bonds. So maybe the HYG actually does go a little bit higher, and the LQD goes higher, but retest into these lows maybe before we see LQD kind of break down again. And maybe the same thing here with the TLT. Maybe the TLT comes into this low, or maybe these lows, or maybe the TLT just kind of goes sideways. Maybe the 10-year yield kind of just goes sideways, because the 30-year yield does look good. That looks good to go higher, but the 10-year yield looks like it wants to maybe break down a little bit, be a little weaker. So let's just be cautious, I guess, right here. That's it. I'd just say just be cautious. I think you'll probably get an idea here, because here over the next maybe day or two on yields, because 10-year definitely does look like it wants to kind of break down or pull back a little bit more. But if it doesn't and it starts to just bounce again and consolidate some more, then yeah, we might just sideways consolidate a little bit longer and then push higher later. So that might be the way it plays out. All right, and taking a look at sector rotation. Materials, big underperformer on the day. Healthcare, financials, utilities, industrials, all underperforming. Energies, communication, staples, real estate, tech, and discretionaries are the day's outperformers. All right, I'll be curious to see what that looks like tomorrow. But we got, for intraday, we got staples, communications, real estate, and discretionaries outperforming. Underperformers on the day, during the day, tech, materials, industrials, energies, utilities, financials, and healthcare. Be curious to see kind of what it looks like. We go back to the beginning of yesterday. Let me, right there. So from, you know what? Let me take it from when we got the Fed. There we go. So we got the Fed announcement. There we go. So we got the Fed announcement yesterday. What has done well since we got interest rate decision? Energies, discretionaries, real estate up, kind of outperforming pretty good. It looks like energies had a nice gap up here today. Then we got tech, staples, communications, a little bit of outperformance there on the SP 500. And then you got utilities, industrials, financials, healthcare, and materials. Materials really getting hit today. Really getting hit today pretty hard.